Case study number 1, Lydia Watkins. To start off with this case study, we are going to look at some background information. Westboro Baptist Church was founded in 1955 and is a group of individuals who are vocal about their opposition of gay rights. This group is also notorious for protesting at funerals of U.S. soldiers and funerals of gay individuals. Westboro Baptist Church isn't affiliated with any organized denomination and was denounced by the Baptist World Alliance and is also a hyper-Calvinist hate group. Westboro Baptist Church is also notorious for partaking in anti-American protests along with hate speeches against atheists, Jews, Muslims, transgender people, and Christian denominations. To start off, we are going to look at the definition of the situation. For this case study, Westboro Baptist Church is wanting to protest at the funeral of 6 high school students in Payne County who were killed in a car accident. To keep these individuals from causing disruptions during the funeral, where people will be gathered to mourn their losses, a radio station's general manager in Stillwater is debating whether to let this group have 5 minutes of free airtime within FCC guidelines to express their opinions. The question at hand here is if giving this group 5 minutes of airtime takes moral priority over letting these people protest at the funeral. We are now going to look at values. I have moral values toward this case, and I would want to show compassion to those attending the funeral. I also value listeners of the station and wouldn't want this group's hateful views hurting anyone who is tuning in. I value the privacy of those attending the funeral, and I also value those who listen to the station and the station's reputation. An argument I have is, who exactly are we protecting? We can't protect everyone because if the church protests at the funeral, the people attending will hear it and see it, but if we allow them to protest over the radio, our listeners will hear it. Either way, someone must experience the protest. We are now going to look at the principles. The ethical principle I think applies to this case is minimizing harm. Another argument I have is, giving this group 5 minutes of airtime minimizing harm toward those attending the funeral, or will it cause more harm to our listeners? Either way, someone has to experience the protest, so should it be mourning families or the greater number, which are our listeners? Another principle I think is applicable to this case would be Mill's principle of utility, which means we should seek the greatest happiness for the greatest number. I can also see Kant's categorical imperative here. This principle states we should do unto others what you would want them to do unto you. We are now looking at our loyalties. Some loyalties that I see here are loyalty to society and loyalty to our organization. Society is more important than any other loyalty. Our duty is to inform the public, and I believe airing this protest is not informative. Both of these loyalties go hand in hand. Our duty is to society, with Kant's categorical imperative and Mill's principle of utility being a couple of our principles. Duty in this case is important to the greatest number, which would be our listeners. With our loyalty being to our organization, allowing this group free airtime to voice their views that Stillwater listeners will hear will strip the station of credibility, and society will no longer trust this station. So now that we are wrapping things up, my ethical judgment is I do not think allowing Westboro Baptist Church to have 5 minutes of free airtime is ethically right. Our duty is to society, the greatest number. The greatest number is the station's listeners, and we have a duty to inform them. The loyalties discussed, which are duty to society and duty to our organization, take priority over those who are attending the funeral. We want to serve the greatest number. Allowing this group to spread hate through the station is handing over our credibility and the trust this station has worked hard to gain. We need to show compassion to those who could hear this group's hateful views on our station.